Hey guys, welcome to another episode here at the Wheel to Wheel. This was round two of the Nations Cup that was held here at the Route X, which is, for those of you that don't know, it's pretty much a big oval um, that's basically taken flat out. So think of basically your restrictor plate racing for NASCAR, basically, in terms of what this race was all about. But as you can see there on the top right, we did end up doing quite well in this race. And yeah, so without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump into it. So we started P2 in this race, not very hard in terms of qualifying for this race. Mostly had to just be very precise in terms of how you took those corners, as you can see on the track map here on the right. The top lane gave you the most speed coming out of the corners, so you just want to be basically riding the wall the entire way through for each of those corners. Yeah, you had to be quite precise in doing that because, you know, obviously the time splits were very marginal for each person that was qualifying. You can see here, basically just settling in a rhythm here. Wish they had more oval racing. I think that would be kind of cool as well, kind of like IndyCar, where you have road courses mixed with ovals. I think it would be pretty fun, especially if they added more real-life tracks that were ovals as well. Yeah, that remains to be seen, I guess. But yeah, this was a fun race, pretty simple race, not too much going on. Now, with these types of races, though, as you can see, everyone's pretty much formed pack, as you can see there, in terms of a straight line. So everyone's just kind of drafting, taking it easy. As you can see in the bottom right too, we have nitrous available in this race. So that's going to come critical, and that will be pretty key towards the end of the race. So right now everyone just kind of settling in a rhythm, just kind of making sure that they don't push too hard or bump too hard, because there is heavy damage in this race, if I'm not mistaken. So while that's happening there, just kind of go through the fields. And with these types of races, all it takes is for someone to pull out a line and for someone to kind of go with them to kind of break the trend, if you will, of having a long train, like we do in this case. Got one guy here in a Pagani, which is interesting. I think the Mercedes was pretty clear-cut choice. As you can see, he went to the bottom there. He's got absolutely no help, and quite wild scenes here. This is what I was talking about earlier in terms of rim riding the wall, and it is a little bit gnarly in terms of how much the car moves around. I was making up some decent ground here at the bottom. I think the Pagani handled better at the bottom of the track. But look at that, no help, and he's going to go all the way back, and I don't know what happened there. Oof. That is game over, and I don't know what happened there. He just went straight up into someone, and Roman Knight, I guess, yeah, in the RX-7. He's got a 4-second time penalty. That's crazy. I don't think he did anything wrong there, but yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. So you can see here Steve fighting it out with Pearman. So these guys here in the back were pretty restless to try and get to the front, I guess. I mean, it's only a 3-lap race, but each lap here is about 4 minutes and 30 seconds, 4 minutes and 26 seconds. So pretty short race from an esports event standard. Because it will take about 13, 15 minutes, 17 minutes. Usually races are about 30 minutes or so, give or take, if you include qualifying as well. So, yeah, this was definitely on the shorter end and definitely on the easier end as well, especially when everyone's in a single file and all you got to do is basically manage the draft. So you can see here, we're a lot smoother with our bumping inputs. And you'll notice actually going into the corners, we modulate a bit of that throttle like you would kind of in real life, so you just don't bump the person ahead of you very, very hard. You see here, we're at full throttle, and we just want to make sure we're not pushing too hard, where, especially when you're next to the wall, because you will end up in the wall and it's just going to make an entire mess behind you. So as you can see there, I'm like half a lane lower, just trying to keep some visibility there as well in terms of what's happening. Yeah, just getting back in line. Yeah, so you can see front damage already here with diesel, and look at this. Ooh. Getting squirmy here at the front, well, midway through the front, but yeah. Look at that, he just did a island hop right there, and here he comes allegedly now with EF. Yeah, that's all the same at this point, but Kev, just gonna call him Kev. Darting in and out. Look at that man, he's just island hopping. Diesel. Not the actual Vin Diesel, but Diesel. There we go, so we got a bit of a draft now forming. 7, 8, 9. You can see, look at that, look at what that's done here to the lead group. Lead group is now pulled away basically, and it's a 5-car train. And I think they've realized that, so now they decide to find a formation. Once they get closer, then they might try pulling out and forming the bottom lane. In my kind of experience as well, I've seen NASCAR racing basically most of my life. I liked it in the 2000s, where you could kind of not rely so much on a draft to push you to the front. This type of racing that we're seeing right now reminds me very much of the current NASCAR type racing at Daytona and Talladega, but if you go back to the 2000s, you really didn't need a strong draft. Oh my lord! Oh! I did not see that, but look at this. Steve, what a move. Just avoided carnage in the back. My goodness, and he's rewarded for it as he's caught the leading pack too. What a move. Got damage here from multiple races in the back. But yeah, as I was saying, as basically the current form of NASCAR in terms of restrictor plate racing is single file, and then unless someone goes with you, or you get a group of cars actually that go with you to a different lane, you're not getting to the front. So you're basically held hostage in the middle. If you're in the middle of that train, you really can't go anywhere on your own. Whereas in the 2000s, you know, based on that Gen 4 package, you could go and, you know, draft and then pull a slingshot type maneuver on your own, even if the other cars were in a train of their own. So yeah, I wish that was kind of similar in this type of racing that we're seeing right now, compared to just single file ride and then make your move kind of at the just last lap point of view. But yeah, it is what it is. So allegedly road street here in the back, so yeah, that's settling through. Got someone actually fighting? No, fine. This is good news for us here, where we're sitting here up in second, when we got this train of 6 cars and then a break between, because we know there's less of a threat now from the back in terms of making moves. Although allegedly is now catching to make this now a 7-car train. Make that 8 and 9. Look at this. Steve doing all the right things, gets by, allegedly. That is some crazy racing right now. We're on to the final lap. I told you guys it'd be quick, so here it is. And usually it's not on this front straight, but the back straight where people start showing their cards in terms of what moves they want to make and who they're going to go with. So again, I'm not a big fan of this single train formation until the last lap, but that's what we have here for this race. You can see he's used a bit of nitrous too, whereas if you look at us, I guess the top three, Mysterio, us, and Lester, none of us have used nitrous. Of course, in the race, I don't know who's used what, but obviously I had a feeling that these guys in front, Lester as well as Mysterio, have not used any nitrous, so I was kind of thinking about that as I was approaching, as I was going to approach the last turn, or turn 3. When will it be go time? And will Mysterio go with me? Will he go with Lester? Will someone else make a move early? Rosado here used more than a quarter of nitrous. And same with pretty much everyone here in the back has used some form of nitrous. He's completely out of nitrous. That is not a strategy you want. Oh, he's smacked the wall again. Oh, Lord. Alright, so as you can see here, it was a little bit of contact again by Rosado. Now, Lester makes his first move of the race, which is to bring the lane and the entire line actually to the bottom of the track. So that's kind of him basically saying he's going to defend the bottom to prevent any sort of overtakes coming from the short side of the track, the quickest way around the track in terms of the shortest distance. So in my head, I'm like, okay, if anyone pulls out from this train behind, and I was looking in my mirror the entire time, so you can see there, Rosado's kind of looking, but he hasn't kind of made his mind. He doesn't want to pop out and then find out no one's going with him, because he's going to go straight to the back. So he's kind of testing the waters, if you will. This lane here. So now, wow, we got a full 10-car battle, basically, for the win. And here goes Rosado, and Steve goes to the top, and no one's going to go with him. And this is what I was talking about, right? Like, if no one goes with you, you go into the back. And he is really going to the back. The worst time possible. We're going to go to the front here. So we're approaching turn 3 now. Again, not having used any nitrous, just kind of keeping in check. So here we go. So now we don't follow Lester fully. We kind of block Mysterio. And at this point, I'm like, okay. And now we decide in the middle, just in the approaching middle of the corner, to use full nitrous. We blast by Lester, and Mysterio is helping us all the way too. And they're all using the nitrous at this point, as you should be. As you can see there, we're up ahead. It's going to be a crazy finish to the line. Mysterio trying to get by. He's still pushing me. He tries to go for it. I do a little block, and we end up winning. We end up winning the race. How about that? We timed that move to perfection in terms of hitting that nitrous full send in the middle of the corner as we're approaching middle of turn 3 and 4. And then Mysterio just kind of going with us, really just kind of gave us the additional boost we needed. And that was a big win. It put us in the hunt for a good finish in this Nations Cup exhibition event. Winner got 349 points, which is what we got. And yeah, great race. Pretty straightforward until the last lap, last 2 sets of corners there. And yeah, pretty happy overall with the win. Well, that does it for this race and for this round. We'll be going on to round three, which is in Monza. That will be an interesting race because we're going to be using, I believe, the Bugatti Vision GT basically. So that one will have basically an enormous amount of downforce and quite a bit of speed as well. So stay tuned for that race as well. But yeah, great race overall. And if you like the racing action so far, please feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks.